Hi, sincere greetings we bid to everyone. I'm Eden. Here are my group members: Hao Jiayi, Gaoyang Li, Mohamad Fazrul, Hanis Nabilah, Qasim Abrar, and myself, Eng Yi Den. We are from Group 2, Tutorial 4. We are here to present you the title Getting Back on Target under Management course. We are going to classify our presentations into 4 agendas. First, discussion questions. Second, 10-point summary. Third, Kahoot system. And fourth, citations. We are going to discuss about the case application 1, which stated under 10th edition management ebook, page 74, page 75. The case started with an ex-former CEO of Target Corporation named Greg Stanhope, where Target Corporation was the biggest retail breach in United States history. Under the leadership of Mr. Stanhope, Target, a super marketing machine, had always been viewed as hip and fun, fresh and energetic. However, that wasn't who Mr. Stanhope was. Under the management of Mr. Stanhope, creativity and quirkiness were no longer rewarded or encouraged. Product vendors were pressured on costs, and things that used to make the company one of the most exciting merchandisers were downplayed and ignored. Not long after, Target's board fired Mr. Stanhope. Target Corporation's new CEO, Brian Cornell, took over in August 2014. Since his arrival, there appears to have been a significant shift in culture. A company that was once described as a very insular and resistant to change is now embracing transparency, openness, and change. This will be our discussion questions today. What role does the CEO play in an organization's culture? What role do other leaders or managers play? So, what does a CEO or Chief Executive Officer mean? Very quickly, CEO is just a single individual. However, their influence on the culture can be far-reaching. The changes they make, the policies they create, and the behaviors they model all influence the way others in the organization behave, and culture is essentially behavior. What role does a CEO play in an organization's culture? Obviously, a right behavior. From the case, we can actually see that Mr. Stanhope was wrongly using his behavior on his position as a CEO. For example, Mr. Stanhope's skills, personality, and demeanor set a tone that was numbers-driven, not people-driven. He refused the creative ideas from others in Target Corporation. Besides, things that used to make the company one of the most exciting merchandisers were downplayed or ignored. Even the employee Rand also described a culture that was very insular and resistant to change. Talking about the right behavior, a CEO have to mind that people pay attention to what the CEO does, not just what the CEO says. You can't rely on communications, no matter how inspiring. A CEO have to step out by behaving in new ways that both capitalize on elements in the current culture and demonstrate a key shift in a cultural alignment. Besides, What works for one doesn't necessarily work for another. As former Campbell Soup Company CEO Douglas Conant said, it's hard for leaders to realize that it's not about showing up the way I think I'm supposed to show up. It's about showing up in a way that is authentically me and can be helpful.
Next, I will be explaining about what role do other leaders or managers play. Different from a CEO, a manager usually communicates more with the employees and customers. Therefore, communication is very important. As an example, the language and tone used when speaking is a major factor that can affect the environmental culture of an organization. Other than that, a manager should also have good leadership. A manager is often the bridge that connects the staff with the senior management, such as the CEO. So, managers should be trustworthy and have a sense of empowerment. Besides that, a manager should also pay attention to details. They should always be consistent because they play an administrative role and are also involved in decision making, including monitoring the performance of the employees. Last but not least, managers should also be wary of their behavior, such as the actions and equality. They should always be professional and be the middle ground of the team.
Question 2. Describe Target culture under its previous CEO. Describe Target's culture under its current CEO. Greg Stehanful, previous Target CEO. Target see itself as fun, fresh, and energetic, but that wasn't who Stehanful was. Stehanful was not a people person. His skill and personality set a tone that was number-driven. Conversation with him are tense and frequently awkward. Target's culture under Stehanful was one oriented around rigid performance measure. Creativity was no longer rewarded or encouraged, and Target is no longer an enjoyable place to work at. The creative culture in Target suffered in many ways under Stehanful. Target lost what used to make it unique, and there haven't been exciting reason to shop at Target. The Target culture was highly insular, secretive, and resistant to change. Besides, there's been issue of Greg's leadership, and he lost the support of his leadership team. Then, Target started becoming crippled by a culture that was too slow to change in today's retail environment. Brian Cornell, current CEO of Target. Brian Cornell was appointed as the new Target CEO in 2014. Target culture had a significant change under the current CEO. Target is now embracing openness, change, and transparency as Cornell willing and eager to become more transparent to both employees and public. Decision making was also being simplified. Target's culture now was described as enthusiastic. Cornell was very keen about customer and Target's business. Besides, the old cultural symbol of unacceptable behavior are being exterminated. Target is now bright, fresh, and optimistic.
Question 16. What are the benefits and challenges of social media in managing organizational culture? For benefits, the first one is build relationships. The use of social media in the workplace can build strong relationships either between employees and customers or clients, and between the employees itself. When co-workers have stronger personal relationships, they often work more efficiently as a team. They might also begin to see their co-workers as a friend, which can increase their satisfaction in coming to work every day. The second one is people can share information and resources easily and effectively. Social media is an easy way to share information and resources both while at work and at home. Because social media is accessible almost anywhere, employees is able to interact with one another even when not at work. The last one is encourages people to connect and communicate with each other, cross-pollinate ideas, and develop valuable insights. Social media can be a powerful communication tool for employees, helping them to collaborate, share ideas, and solve problems. Social media can improve work relationships and also support decision-making processes. For the challenges, the first one is open up the possibility for hackers to commit fraud and launch spam and virus attacks. When you are using social media platform, sometimes you need to give your information both public and personal in order to get the information. With social media platform being a constant target for hackers or unethical people, your personal information and data will never be safe, which can make financial losses and loss to personal life. Even though social platforms are constantly improving on this, but they will never be 100% safe. The second one for challenges is may result in negative comment from employee about the company. People use social media platform to post content they love, but they also use it to share experience they didn't love. If the employee had a poor experience with the company, it opened a door of opportunity for them to share their poor experience with others. For example, on sites like Twitter, users can tag the company in their posts and share their negative experience. Other people can retweet that poor experience and spread it across the network. The last one is potentially result in lost productivity. Social networking can become a severe distraction for some people. When someone becomes distracted by the information available through social media, it can take them up to 25 minutes to become focused on the original task. So it may lead to loss of productivity.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gaoyang Li. My number is S20184001. About my question, which view of management do you see played out here, the omnipotent or the symbolic? Explain. And my answer is omnipotent view of management. It states that managers are directly responsible for an organization's success or failures. Most companies fail mainly because of poor management, and managers play an important role in this process. Well, the symbolic view of management argues that an organization's success or failure is due to external focus outside management's control. But I agree that the influence of outside world on the company depends on the decision of the manager. For example, Travis Kalanick, former CEO of Uber, who believes win at cost, was focused out publicly after the most recent theories of acquisition to hit the company. Is a problem of attitude, but that I mean a win at all costs mentality which stems from an historically white male-driven environment. Many young companies thrust like mandate and similar-looking executives to positions of power and money, and they become blinded by success as their company grows. They had their skeletons in a closet of innovation and make diversity, inclusion, and even culture an afterthought. Then his replacement Dara was brought in to clean up the mess and position the company for future growth. Uber's dilemma is one that should never have happened in the first place, especially because the solution for prevention is an easy one: to make diversity and inclusion part of business plan. Okay, all in all, as I see, most companies fail mainly because of poor management, rather than the influence of outside world on the company. Above all, that's my answer about this question. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.
Hi everyone, my name is Hao Jiayi and I will be answering the 18th question. What advice about organizational culture do you give to the new CEO? I'll give 4 advice to the new CEO. First, it's critical for managers to continue what is to make the business successful. Taking risks can be dangerous sometimes, like what the previous CEO has done. He changed the tone of target from people-driven to numbers-driven, and it led to a serious consequence. Company buyers purchase items without enough willingness to the newest, unique merchandises. Also, the things that used to make Target the most exciting retailer were ignored. Second, managers should care about employees from time to time, and they also need to make sure that employees felt valued and appreciated. The previous CEO didn't pay much attention in connecting with employees, and it caused an anonymous mid-level employee at headquarters said a lot of bad things on social media about the leadership and some worries for the company's future. Third, managers should always be learning new things like skills, knowledge, in order to improve and develop the business. Because of Steinhoffel's narrowed vision for business, Target was unable to make an improvement for the business, and that ended up with Board fired Steinhoffel from Target. Fourth, managers need to offer a positive working place for the employees, so that employees will put in much more enthusiasm and effort to their jobs. Steinhoffel was making the work environment rigid and insular. Employees were lacking creativity, and the headquarters working place were also in a struggled condition.
Next, we have the 10-point summary. First of all, a CEO and manager's action influences the way employees think. An organization's culture affects the way employees act. That is why a CEO or manager should always be aware of their actions. Next, a healthy organizational culture leads to a better work atmosphere, and a manager's consistency and equality is the key to a harmonious workplace. Other than that, creativity should be encouraged to make work an enjoyable space and to unleash the hidden talents of the employees. Leadership is also a major factor in an organization's success, because team orientation is important for a workplace. Change can also improve a work culture, and being open towards suggestions from employees is crucial for a leader. We have prepared a Kahoot quiz for you to answer. Follow these following steps to answer them. These are the list of references used for this presentation. That is all from us now. Thank you for listening.